we would want to ask people to try. I mean, it's not compulsory. You can read up other styles if you want to, but it's good to be able to see that you have a situation where maybe you have a problem that you are trying to solve. Remember, we said earlier on that a Chevening scholar is somebody who has the ability to make change to a situation. So there's a situation at hand. Then you have a task as an individual. What was the action that you took, the action points that you took, and then finally the results. So using a STAR approach is a very good model for you to write your essays. Then the essay should have a great introduction. We should be able to tell from the beginning of the essay what your passion is, how passionate you are about solving a particular problem. Then throughout the body of the email, you have your action points, what you did as an individual. Remember that you're talking about yourself. You are blowing your own trumpet. You are talking about I. You're not talking about we. Even if you are in a team, you should be emphasizing what you have done as an individual so that we can see that you have the qualities of leadership and influencing. Are you trying to solve a problem? Is your essay clear? Is it concise? That means, you need to write your essay in such a way that you go straight to the point and it is clear, we understand it, there's a flow in your essay. Obviously, you should not have grammatical errors. So you need to check your essays over and over and over again to ensure that there are no grammatical errors. The best thing you would do is you would probably want to work offline, move your essay to maybe a Word document, type and check it and keep checking it. And if you're able to use Word very well, you know that it will flag when you have spelled something incorrectly and it will give you the correct option. So all of these things, you should check them. And then your essay should make sense. It should be realistic. You can come up with grand ideas, but even when you come up with grand ideas, you should be able to provide evidence to back up what you are saying. Do you have any data? Are you using data? If you're using data, you should also note that sometimes the person reading your essay is going to go and check what you are saying. So make sure there's no plagiarism. You are not copying from anywhere, because the systems, the Chevening systems, they have softwares where they can check if you have copied somebody else's essay before. And lastly, if you have any achievements that you want to highlight, this is your opportunity to highlight them. Put them in your essays. Let us see what you have been able to achieve. For example, you have served in a committee, you have led a delegation, you have led a political group, and so many other examples, not just these 3 examples. But if you have achievements, highlight them, because when we see achievements, we know that you have been able to overcome challenges and you have been able to achieve something new. And as a result, we can see that you've been able to lead and you've been able to influence other people to buy into your idea or to help you deal with a problem in a particular space, in your community, in your state, or in your nation at large. Next, when you're writing your essays, always think about what your final goals are. What are your expected outcomes and what success will look like? And then I've talked about plagiarism. Do not lie, write your own story and ensure that you have read and understood the questions very, very well. And then finally, applying for your university courses on time. The researching of your universities should even start now before the application window opens in August. If you really have the mind to apply for the Chevening scholarship, you need to start doing your research now, so that by the time the window has opened, you already have your essays in place and you are just proofreading, checking, reaching out to mentors so that people can check and review your essays to make sure that they are strong enough, because this is a competition and you have to let your essays stand out. And for them to stand out, you have to keep on going over and over them. Sometimes you might read something and it seems okay to you, but somebody else will read that same essay and will say to you, Layo, How come you missed this out? I thought you had told me this particular example before. Sometimes you need to outline all the examples you have and choose the strongest examples that highlight your strengths. Finally, you need to consider the deadline. We do not want people to submit their essays at the end or on the last day because anything can happen. We're in Nigeria. You can have technical glitches. You can have NEPA goes off. Your computer doesn't come on. All kinds of things can happen. So try not to leave it to the last day. Try and submit some days before, at least, even if you are getting towards the last day, you know. As I said, prepare your answers offline so that you can save your data. And then when you are ready, when you've read it, then you can go and paste it into your application form. Your references too are very important. Fortunately, in the application form, all you need to do is to list them. It is later on that you are required to submit the reference letter. So at this point, you need to just list them. So you need to check who is willing to act as a referee for you so that you can list their names in your application form. Other things that you can consider when writing your applications is if you are able to link your experiences or what you want to do in the future with the priorities in Nigeria. In the British High Commission, we call ourselves the UK in Nigeria on social media. So it's a very good idea to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and we're now on LinkedIn. So if you follow us, you will get to see what the UK in Nigeria is doing, and you'll be able to tell what our priorities are. These are some of the priorities here on this page, but there are so many other things. Even, I mean, education is not listed here, but it is also one of our priorities. Girls and gender is also one of our priorities. Security and stability is also one of our priorities. As I said, being online and following us on social media will help you to know what our priorities are. But it is not compulsory that you must write your essays, you know, in line with our priorities. You might have other priorities like the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Those are priorities that you can align your essays with. There's also wider goals, nationwide goals, global goals. It just depends on how you write your essays and the kind of change that you are trying to make. So those are our handles on social media. I already mentioned the Chevening website. Then we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I think we can share those in the chat bar later on. And this brings me to the end of our presentation slides. Let me come back. Okay, so just in closing, I just wanted to remind you that for Chevening scholarships, because the idea sometimes for people is that if I can get a scholarship, I can leave Nigeria, I will not have to come back and all of that. So I just wanted you to know that as far as Chevening is concerned, though, you have to come back to Nigeria. No jackpine in this one. You come back because when you're writing your career essay, I mean, if you read some of these essays, people are talking about my short-term goal. When I come back, this is what I'm going to do. My mid-term goal, this is what I'm going to do. My long-term goal, this is what I'm going to do. In Nigeria, as soon as they come back like this, they want to go back to the UK. Please, help us to fix Nigeria. Help us to fix Nigeria. That is why we are spending all of this money and giving it to you, because we believe in your vision and we believe in the change that you want to make in Nigeria. So there's this new graduate route visa that a lot of people might know about. Miriam, have you heard about it? Or Adeola? There's this new graduate route visa whereby if you go to the UK to study, you can stay back and work for 2 years if you read a master's. And if you did a PhD, you can stay for 3 years. So with Chevening, you cannot do that one. If you pay your own money and you go to the UK, you can stay back. So I think this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you found it interesting. I'm happy to take any questions from you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for your time. Actually, it's been awesome learning a whole lot about children scholarship here today. All right, so everyone here present, please, if you have any questions, please, I would love you to actually drop it in the chat box, like Mariam said earlier, so we could actually read it up to her and ask. And by the way, ma'am, should in case we still have further questions, is it possible we send you your mail or something like that in order to get a response? You're muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I said if you send questions after this, I will still respond to you.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
not to worry.
All right, ma'am. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the chat box, and there's just a question here for now. Guys, I want you to send your question if you have one. So the question here from Kwais Al Hakulani says, please, any advice for preparing for the interview? He is asking if you have any advice as against preparing for the interview.
Okay, so the thing about it is, honestly, you have to make the short list first. Before we start talking about interview tips, I'm thinking that I'm available to speak to you on interview tips at a different time if Miriam reaches out to me. But in general, the interview is just a continuation of your application. You have written some essays and you're coming to defend these essays in front of a panel. You know, many of us have attended interviews. They're not easy sometimes because you're going to be sitting down opposite people, like three people, and they're all going to be asking you questions about your essays. So the thing about the interviews is, first of all, your level of confidence when you come into the interview. Then you knowing your essays very well, being able to explain your essays, because somebody might ask you a follow-up question that you did not write in your essay. So if you do not know your essay, if somebody else wrote it for you, then I mean, how will you be able to convince us that you know what you're talking about? So you have to immerse yourself in what you have written, so that by the time you are talking about it, you're speaking about it with confidence, and you're able to answer any questions that anyone asks you about the interviews. Then your body language, how you talk when you're at the interview, that's something else that you have to prepare yourself for. The way you dress, even when you arrive at the interview. If you arrive late, you will come and you'll be jittery and you will not know how to behave when you are faced in front of the panel. But if you come in like 30 minutes before the time, you sit down, you relax yourself. By the time you're in front of the panel, you will find it easy to discuss, about your essays without any problem. So it's just having the confidence to talk about your essays in front of a panel and being able to answer the questions that they ask you.
All right, Smart. Thank you very much for that. So another question from Omar Ademola Bello says, could we get the opportunity to get a presentation slides, ma'am? Please, could we get the slides? Is it possible you give us the slides, ma'am?
So what I will do, honestly, what I will do is I will just remove all of the information and put it in a Word document, and I will send it to Miriam to share with you.
All
Yes,
right.
we're not allowed to share the document itself, but I can share the contents of it. So there's no problem. I'll definitely give it to Miriam and Adeola.
All right. So a question from Chiamaka Hani says, does the experience have to be directly related to your discipline?
It depends on what you are deciding to go and study. You understand? If you are going to stick to your discipline, then yes, your experience will be relevant there. But if you're going to do something new and something different, you have to explain how your experience from the past, how it aligns with what you're doing now, and with what you intend to do in the future. As long as you can explain that clearly to us, then we have no problem if you're changing your career path. You understand? Someone like me, I studied architecture, then I went into visa work, and now I'm doing chevening work. So if I decide that I want to go and do, although I'm not allowed to apply for chevening, I'm not allowed. Anybody working in the British High Commission cannot apply. So, but if to say I wanted to apply, then I will have to explain why I want to do another master's, because I already have a master's. Why do I want to do another master's, and why do I want to do it in this particular course? You understand? So you have to explain what the knowledge gap is what you need from this particular master's. As long as you can explain clearly to us, then that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So I'll continue with the questions. Okay. A question from Abdullah, which has already been answered by you earlier, says, "Is there a need for high HLTS, I guess, English proficiency examination?
Yes, I
Will it be
explained
exam?
earlier on. Yeah, I
Yes.
explained earlier on that as far as Chevening is concerned, it's not a Chevening requirement. You know, I explained what the eligibility requirements were. Before, like 2 years ago, English language was part of it, but that has been removed from our requirements. But then you doing your research, don't go and choose the school if you do not already have IELTS or you do not want to have to write it. Then don't go and apply to a school that is going to ask you for it. But if you go to a school that says you must still have it, then that has to do with you and the university. And the university will not give you admission if you do not present the IELTS results to them. You understand? So it depends on you.
All right, Matt, thank you. So a question from Abdulkarim Abdulmuiz. He says, can CWES serve as work experience, especially for fresh graduates? That's the first question. And the second question says also, there are some common words or quotes that one may incorporate in the essay. Is it necessary or cite or reference these words? He's asking two in one question. Probably we'll take the first question first, which says, can CWES, CWES is like industry, like a kind of IT kind of a thing. So he's saying, can it serve as a work experience,
Industrial
especially for,
attachment, isn't it?
yes, yes.
Yes, that can. But you see, any kind of internship that has or work experience that has to do, for example, with, let's say you studied medicine and then you have to do housemanship. You know that housemanship is a requirement, is part of. So that's why CWES will not work, because it's a requirement of the course you are studying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like with houseman, you cannot come and say, "Oh, I did 1 year of housemanship," and count that as experience, because it's a requirement for you to complete your medicine. Same thing with CWES. But if you go and you do internship somewhere, you can add that as an experience, or any voluntary work, as long as you have the evidence to show that you did that.
Okay, ma.
And
All
the
right.
second part of the question,
Yes, that says there are some common words or quotes that one may incorporate in the essay. Is it necessary to cite or reference these words?
it depends on you. It depends on how much you have to say. What I mean by that is it depends on how many examples you're trying to highlight. You have to be mindful of the 500 words, which is the maximum words that you're writing on. So that's the thing about writing these essays. You write them over and over and over again. First of all, if you find that by the time you finish citing and referencing so much of it, you do not have enough space to write what you actually want to say, then it would make more sense for you to remove that, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it would depend on, first of all, how many essay examples you have that you want to write about. Then it will also depend on how many words you have by the time you begin to cite all those additional references that you want to include. And some of those things might not be necessary to hit the nail on the head. You understand, in this particular scenario, it will depend.
All right, so a question from Zach Isaac Okore. He says, do we have an head to return back abroad if we return to Nigeria?
So you can return back after 2 years. So, but you can go as a visitor. You know what I mean? So as soon as I come back, I want to go on holiday. You might have to apply for a visit visa. Go on holiday and come back. Nobody's going to stop you from going. What we are complaining about is if immediately you come back, immediately you now run back to the UK or any other country to go and either study or to work, which means that essay on career plan, that means you just fooled us now. You did not really want to do what you said you were going to do, and we gave you this based on what you said you were going to do. Those are the things that convinced us, this guy, his ideas are so good. This guy is going to make change in his village. No, let's give this guy the scholarship. You now give him, he will go and taste UK. Like, see, this Niger, Kai is not there. But if we do not stay back and build our country, please, who's going to build it for us? That's just the truth. So all we're asking is come back, but you can still go back. Nobody is stopping you. At least try for 2 years. Try and see if there's something that to solve the problem that you said initially was a problem before you now go back to the UK.
All right. Yeah, so a question again from Tolulope Makinde. It says, is it possible to get Chevening scholarship when you are yet to receive an unconditional offer, maybe because of IELTS or initial deposit?
And so that's why it's called unconditional. You must have satisfied all the requirements. And that's why we leave it up until July. You understand? So now that we have called these people to come for interview, right? By March and April, once we have finished the interviews, we have to get back to them on time. But while they are waiting, they are corresponding with the universities. You gave me conditional. What is it that is remaining for me to submit? Do you understand? The school will tell you. You have to make sure that you get it. And honestly, I know of one guy last year. It was such a sad case. He was not able to get his unconditional letter by the deadline. I think he got it like 2 or 3 days later. Honestly, the secretariat did not accept his letter. That is how he missed the scholarship. So we had to now take from the reserve list. There are people who were on the reserve list who already had their unconditional letters waiting. God, let them just call me. Let them just choose me amongst the, and that is how those ones were just upgraded and then they got the award. So when they say deadline is 16th, they mean that 16th. No playing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, so the final question in the chat box, it says, what if after or during the process of studying, you got an employment with a school or an establishment in the UK? Are you to decline that as part of the Chevening scholarship protocols or return back to Nigeria?
I don't want to speak pidgin here. I don't talk this matter before now. I have said this before. Please.
Yeah.
You cannot stay back and work because you have signed you have signed already that you are not going to stay back in the UK. It's not done that you must stay. You must come back home. And then after the 2 years is up, honestly, nobody's going to bat an eyelid. You are going to even join an alumni association. They are going to be watching you. You're like, see you. You are going, we are staying back. Nobody is happy when somebody goes back, knowing that, you agreed to a condition. It's an agreement. If you do not like the conditions of then decide to do something else. I know of somebody who had Erasmus scholarship and had Chevening scholarship. Maybe because she does not have those conditions, she moved on to the other one. But that's because she was lucky. She had the two. So she decided that she would rather stick with the Erasmus one. But then the Erasmus scholarships they have their own systems in place. I think some of them you have to go to some of them allows you to go to the UK and then you go to a country after that. Some of them allow you to go to one of those French-speaking countries and you have to go learn the language, all kinds of things. With the Chevening scholarship, everything is straightforward. You go for your 1 year, you come back. So, but I mean, I would not come here on this platform and be telling you that one scholarship is better than the other. All I can tell you here now is we are offering this scholarship. If you feel that you are good enough and you are able to make a positive change in Nigeria, then please feel free to apply because it is open to everyone. Everyone has equal opportunities. There's no chua inside this one. As I told you, the initial shift is done in the UK before we now come back and then we do the interviews here. And it is your performance at interview that will make you stand out.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, so a final question.
You will not pay for your visa fees. You will not pay for your visa fees. Everything is paid for. Everything is paid for by Chevening. Unless when you come back and you want to go again, that one, like how NYSC is for 1 year, where you are the beginning of the Nigerian government. Everything is paid for. Once it ends like this, that Alawi doesn't come again, Abi. No more
Yes, ma'am.
alawi.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay, actually we're running out of time, but this question came in from David Muku and it's actually kind of similar to Sarah David's question. It says if I've given a conditional offer with conditional reason to pay initial deposit of 1,000 euro, what should I do?
£1,000.
I mean, sorry, pounds rather.
Yeah. So once it has to do with payment, then it is not conditional anymore as far as we are concerned with the secretariat. Because as long as we feel that you're going to get the scholarship, then that £1,000 I have not paid, the secretariat will give you a program officer. That program officer will liaise with the university and say, forget that £1,000, so we are going to settle it. So once at that stage they ask you to pay, but those initial deposits, maybe small, £20 here, £30 here, some schools ask for. That one is on you. You have to pay those ones. But when it comes to like the end, when you just gone through interview and then the school is still saying, you have to pay £1,000 before we can give you an unconditional offer. As far as we are concerned, you already have an unconditional offer. You don't have to pay that £1,000. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Ma. A question from me, I would love to ask. How frequent can you apply? Or is
As
there?
many times
Yes,
as you
yes,
can, because unfortunately sometimes people get rejected and then they draw back and they feel, oh my goodness, was I not good enough? The truth about it is, it's not that you're not good enough. Maybe it just means that at that point in time, your essays were not, because it's a whole batch of with other essays, so it's a competition. So maybe at this point, your essay is not strong enough. So what it means, you need to go back to the drawing board and look at your essays again and say, what is it that is missing in this essay? Maybe you did not ask someone to review it. Even if you ask someone to review it and they reviewed it and you still were rejected, it does not mean that you didn't have a strong application. It just means because there's so many applications and yours probably just didn't make the cutoff, but that doesn't mean you didn't get a high score. But you see, maybe when you're grading people and 200 people have 16 over 16, and then you now have 13 over 16. You understand? By the time everything is ranked, you find yourself at the bottom, even though maybe you had 13, which was a strong score. You understand what I mean?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Was there a second part to the question that I haven't answered?
No, 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 no. There's no second part. Okay. This question actually, and I feel all these questions are actually going to be very helpful for everyone that wants to apply. This person says, I'm shortlisted. I yes,
Okay.
all right. Okay, I guess, ma'am, the left questions would actually be forwarded to you via mails,
That's
and
fine.
we look forward
I
to
will
getting
answer
a
them.
reply. All
I will
right. Thank
attend
you
to them.
very
Thank you.
much, ma'am, for
You're
honoring our
welcome.
invitation. It's been an awesome session with you today.
Thank you
We
very
hope
much for
when
having
we
me.
go to you next time, we'll actually be able to get an audience again. Thank you for coming, ma. Do have a very good and nice night rest, ma. Thank you very much for coming.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
bye.
Thanks for
That's
having
fine.
me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So I trust every one of us is having a good time here today. So okay.
No, conditional, conditional.
Okay. So very quickly, um okay, I just want to be sure our second speaker is here with us. So a moment, please.
Hi, Adiola. Yes, I'm here with you.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. So our second speaker for today's conference is Dr. MACAULAY. Okay. He's a native of Lagos State. Okay, and is an academic and an educational consultant. Okay, he holds a bachelor degree with first class honors in biology from Federal University of Technology, Akure in 2010. Okay, and he has won the Commonwealth Scholarship twice to fund his master's and PhD degree. Okay, he currently lectures in the Department of Biology at FUTA. He's the founder of iLLUMANIA, all right, an online educational consult. Okay, he happens to have won series of scholarships and awards, which is about 150 MSc and PhD scholarship winners from Nigeria. I mean, he has been able to produce rather. Okay, in 2021, he won 3 additional scholarships. The HEN HEM scholarships in Nigeria, OKP scholarship in the Netherlands, and the Liu BRC scholarship in Sweden, worth 25 million naira to further improve his scholarly career. So it's a great honor to actually have today here with us Dr. MACAULAY. All right, sir. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. So, okay, I guess I've not been able to share that. Okay, so you can actually proceed. So, sir, you can please take over, sir.
Okay, thank you. I just want to be sure that you guys can see me properly. Can you see me properly?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. And you can hear me as well properly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. First, I want to say that you guys are lucky. I think there were about 60 something of you I was watching. You guys are so lucky. You had Mrs. LADEPO come to speak. She is the ears and eyes and nose and mouth of Chevening. So whatever she tells you is law. Trust me, concerning Chevening. So if you weren't taking notes, you are wrong. So if there is anyone who is supposed to understand Chevening more than anyone else, is actually Mrs. LADEPO. So I hope you really took advantage of that. Okay, so for me, I'm going to be now. She focused more on Chevening, but I'm going to be talking more about general scholarship applications. And so my tips will cover applications that you can apply for either in the US, in Europe, UK, even Japan. Because there are basic things you need to know once you want to commence your scholarship journey. So I'm going to come from a more general perspective than focusing on a single scholarship. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have done this with many scholarships. I myself have won a lot of them. So I'm not a core of just one. I've won a lot of them, and I've also helped a lot of people to win through my company. So I feel like it's important for me to just share general tips that will be extremely useful. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. The issue with this Google Meet. When I saw Google Meet, I say, hey, they're going to expose me today. Okay. So let's see. Google Meet and their problem. I think I've opened it. Okay, I got all right. Let me see. So if it's a window, yep, I found you finally. Okay. All right, so if you can see my slide, please, can you just tell me?
Yes, I think your slide is actually on the screen now.
Great. Okay, so according to the theme I was given, it says earning an international scholarship, a tap into the learned archive. That was the theme I was given. So around that, I realized that this talk is going to be more about things you need to know to win an international postgraduate scholarship. Please put in mind, it's international postgraduates. I am more of a specialist in that area. I don't do international undergraduates. And why is that? There are not a lot of opportunities in that area. So, and I run a business. And so most of my customers and clients are basically seeking for postgraduate scholarships, not undergraduate scholarships. Why? Undergraduate scholarships are easy to, not easy, but there are enough local undergraduate scholarships in Nigeria. MTN, Total, Chevron, there are loads of them. NLNG, there are loads and loads of them. Even federal government of Nigeria has got an undergraduate scholarship. So I think that's the reason why there is more attention on postgraduates than undergraduates. All right. Okay, so for today, the contents, we're going to cover a number of things. First is self-evaluation, choosing the right course, considering a career switch, getting your documents ready, searching for the right scholarship, following instructions to the letter, writing an award-winning scholarship essay, emailing prospective supervisors. This is important for Canada, it's important for US. Common mistakes to avoid, and then get professional support if needed. And lastly, Facebook pages to follow for scholarship info. Okay, so it's a lot, and I'll try to be very quick because of time. I need your attention, please. I need your attention. Okay, so first thing first, self-evaluation. I'm one of those that once you come to me and you tell me that you want to apply for a scholarship, I'll just ask you why. I know it sounds strange and weird, right? I don't go, yes, I can help you. Okay, go and apply for this. No, I just ask you why. Why do you think you need a scholarship? Why? What do you want to do with a scholarship? If what you tell me is, I just want to japa, I just want to run away from this God-forsaken country, I won't talk to you again, because you are not the kind of person that these scholarship sponsors seek. You are not the kind of person. But if I talk to you and I ask you why, and you tell me, I want to improve myself, I want to get better, I know I can't get the best of education here. I've already started off, the foundation has been set here, but for what I want to do, you know, in the future, I feel like I need to go out there to learn from the very best, to use the best equipment, to learn from the best faculty. I will listen to you. You are the kind of person that scholarship sponsors want. So with me, I am extremely choosy about those I assist. And everyone knows that about me. I don't help everybody. Because for me, scholarship is not meant for everyone. It's not meant for everybody. If scholarship is meant for everyone, everyone should be winning. Everyone should be winning. Not everyone is winning. And that's because the reality is that scholarship sponsors look out for certain kinds of people. And if you listen to Mrs. LADEPO, it was clear when she said that, look, there are certain things you need to have. There are certain things you need to show in your essay. There are certain achievements you need to be able to prove that you have done, some community service, leadership experience, and all of that, that you must show on paper. You must show evidence that you've done this. That means not just anyone can apply and win. There is a profile that you must have for you to win. So that means, you know, scholarship is not meant for everyone. So I used to ask, where do you see your...
Sure. Very quickly, your screen is not changing. I just wanted to create...
Yes, it's not changing. Yes, because I'm still on it. Yes.
All right.
Okay. So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Be realistic and honest to yourself. Do you really need a postgraduate degree to achieve this goal or goals? So that's what I said, ask yourself. Because for some of you, you don't actually need a scholarship. You don't need a master's. You don't need a PhD. I have a friend who studied chemical engineering, and all he's doing now is just he's getting professional qualifications. That's all. He doesn't need master's and PhD. And he works with KPMG, and he's grown up the ranks. He's a manager, and he's doing so excellently well. He has no master's, but he has a whole lot of professional certifications, a whole lot that are important for that discipline, for that department where he's in. So it's important that you know where you're heading to, know your destination. If you don't need masters, why are you doing it? As in, do you want to use it to just arrange your house or what? I did masters and PhD because I'm an academic. It was important to my growth, you know, in the university, and I got the growth I was looking for. But if you don't need masters and you don't need PhD, there is no need for you to go about just amassing certificates for nothing. Eventually, someone without the certificates will even earn more than you. So understand why you need this and know where to plug them in. So this is extremely important. That's why I'm emphasizing on it. What assistance or network do you need? If your financial resources cannot get you there, you can take advantage of the benefits of scholarships.